Jee,
Yes.
welcome to Keeping It Real.
Thanks, Prue.
Thank you so much for joining us. Now, one of our friends told me that you've got a bit of a story before real estate.
Yes.
And if someone had have told me when I was in prep at school that one of my friend's dads managed a pancake parlor, I think I would have done anything to be their instant best friend. Talk to me a little bit about that journey.
I think I don't think there's any indifferent to that with my kids. The fact that me being in real estate doesn't thrill them one single bit. But the fact that when I was at Pancakes, I was
the hot ticket.
Oh yes, it was. I mean, I was the They loved the fact that I was there. They had birthday parties there. They had friends come over to the restaurant, and we did a lot of that. Over those years.
I think I had a birthday party there. My favourite was short stack.
Yes.
Strawberries,
Yes.
ice cream, maple syrup.
Yes.
And you just cannot recreate that maple syrup.
No.
You can't.
No.
Do you still have like a VIP pass there? Or?
No, unfortunately, yeah. I think it ran out 10 years after I left.
Oh, so you got one afterwards?
I did. Oh, yes. I mean, I've been with them for a good number of years, probably 12 years. And I was probably, I knew a lot of the owners pretty well.
Yeah.
I knew a lot of the managers pretty well. And so I was very much part of the family.
Was it a family business?
It was.
Really?
It was, yeah.
And still is today?
It is. It started in 1965. Okay. So it's been a long time, and they've done really, really well.
60 years.
And all my boss wanted to do at that time was to actually make the best pancakes in Australia, right? And that was his only goal.
Yeah.
Wasn't about expanding and having that many restaurants all over this place, but he had restaurants all the way from Queensland down to New South Wales and all the way down to South Australia. And the very, very first pancake parlor was actually in Adelaide, in 1965.
Are they a Melbourne family or?
They are a Melbourne family now.
Family.
Yeah. So
some great family businesses to come out of Melbourne.
Fantastic. Yeah. Look, I mean, the kids, the kids love it. And I think we had a lot of great memories then.
Yeah.
And I think the kids have all grown up now. When they look back and they go, "Oh, Dad, we wish you were still there."
Yeah. Well, I still take. Well, I've got an 8 and a 6-year-old.
Yeah.
And they've gone there and they love it. They probably add a little bit more sprinkles and stuff than I was allowed to back in the day, but it's definitely an institution and something to be proud of having been part of.
It is, and even the birthday party with Mad Hatter and Alice, in Wonderland. I think they had great memories. We've got great photos of it, and
they did it well. Absolutely,
it is lovely. It is lovely, and I think it's a great Australian icon as well at the moment. Everyone knows about it. Anyone you should speak to about Pancake Parlor, they know what it is and what it is about because they have memories of it. So.
Well, absolutely, and there's so many correlate. Like when you say that, and people constantly go back there, and they've got that warm, fuzzy feeling. They have been able to create that longevity with the brand, and you can draw a lot of correlations from whether it's pancakes to property.
Yes.
And you would have learned a lot about how to build your own brand. So talk to us a little bit about the journey from pancakes to property. Was it an instant switch, or how did your?
Well, it wasn't sort of as it was quick because it came to a point where hospitality with a growing family, it was a bit difficult having to be there on the busy nights like Fridays and Saturdays, and and the wife said, look, you just gotta, you can't do these kind of hours anymore. I'm happy for you to sort of do the days, but not so much the nights. So and that's how at one stage I took my long service leave period to sort of switch over to real estate. I did my course during that time. And then when I got into real estate, the hours obviously are similar to hospitality, but it's the daytime. So
and you didn't step straight from Pancakes into Fletcher's.
No.
You actually owned your own business before
Yes,
stepping into here.
Yes, I did. When I started real estate, I was with a group, right? Okay, and then after that, I think about 10 years with them. I came out to open my own agency I had it for about 8 years.
Yeah.
So and then after I sort of sold the business, and I came to at a certain stage of my life where my direction was a bit different. My hunger was different.
Yeah.
So it was a very, very comfortable transition into Fletcher's. I've known the brand for such a long time as well too. It's an iconic brand. I'm glad actually. One of the best thing I ever did. So.
Oh, so good. So you've been with us now for
5 years.
5 years, and Ben and Rob, Ian, Michelle, your whole cohort at Whitehorse are just such a brilliant culture.
It is.
What do you think makes it work so harmoniously?
I think it's everyone's sort of they be themselves, and I think that's important because a lot of time with real estate, you get a lot of different companies with different egos and little, self, perception of them, or what they can do and what they are, and not. I mean, there's lack of sort of down to earth kind of, culture.
And
I think
you are all so different.
we are.
You are
we
all
are.
so different.
And that's the beauty about it,
Yeah.
the fact that we're different,
Yeah.
gave us the opportunity to sort of, we gel really well,
You do.
Yeah. And I think sometimes there's no ego in our office, that there's everyone sort of stick on to what they do best. There's a lot of assistance from one member to another. If someone happens to know something more, that another don't, and we sort of help each other out. Which is
there's no real gatekeepers of knowledge within your group. You are you leverage each other.
Yes.
You knowledge share. You
Yes.
build each other up.
Yes.
You've got some fantastic auctioneers.
Yes.
Yourself,
Yeah.
Ian, who we'll catch up with later.
Yes.
What's your style? I know that you are very attention to detail. You are fastidious with the process.
Yes.
Do you have creative flair in the auction, or are you a process-driven guy from start to finish?
I hate to say it, but sometimes I'm very process-driven.
I love that. That is real estate.
So I'm not as flamboyant as Ian. Ian tends to get quite
He's a
flamboyant
showman
with it. He's
amongst
a
the
showman.
showmen.
He does. For me, I tend to stick a very, very tight game plan, as to what's going to happen on the day. So I sort of make sure all the boxes are ticked, cross all my T's, dot all my I's, and, and I just run it the way, There are moments where I feel, depending on the crowd, I feel that there might be a little bit of humor in it. You might need it, it to be sort of, if I find it appropriate. But apart from that, is mainly just get the job done and get the job done as well as I possibly can. Draw the beats when I need to, extend it a little bit longer if I need it to. The timing is, it's very, very important in an auction. So
yeah, absolutely. And there's obviously Whitehorse is an area where auctions are probably the number one sales method that most of the agencies use.
Yes.
For obviously some more unique properties, you might do a private sale or those sorts of things. But in terms of, say, the architecture, for example, there's lots of different varieties. There's your heritage homes, your period homes, modern homes. There's a lot more apartments, townhouses, those sorts of things as the population densifies quite a bit.
Yeah.
What's been your favourite home to sell over the last 10 years, do you think?
Oh, I mean, there has been quite a few.
Is there one that stands out to you?
Well, I think every home, like the way you describe it as a home, and to every person, it is a very special place. And I think I take it from that point of view that, when I approach a particular property, even though we try to look at it as real estate in general, but it's actually a home.
Yeah.
But in terms of styling, nothing. I like Federation style.
You like
Federation,
and then Wardian, Federation.
Yeah, there has been quite a few in Blackburn and even some outskirts of Blackburn, that actually had that style and it's done really, really well. And that's my favorite, so.
Yeah, beautiful. And in terms of the population, Whitehorse is one of those suburbs at the moment, which is has quite a buzz around it.
Yes.
I think there's lots of young families that are coming in there because of the great education and just the amenities, the public transport and those sorts of things. What do you think has been the biggest change in terms of the demographic over the last few years? Is it young families? Is it downsizers? What are you guys seeing over the next couple of years which you think is going to be the kind of the future for the suburb?
I think Blackburn, I think in the last sort of 10, 15 years, there's a lot of older families just trying to move out and downsize. And some of them tend to stay within the suburb. But we do have a lot of young families moving in. You know, there are a lot of, buyers from different, background as well that's moving in, as opposed to what it happens in Manningham and Monash. We find a lot of buyers of Asian descent coming to Blackburn, which given 10, 15 years ago, they would never look at a character weatherboard.
Yeah.
Right? They would not even, now they love it.
And do you think that was due to, was it that they were buying property and that area of the market was maybe still overseas and they didn't have, and it was investment. So, an older home in terms of the upkeep and the maintenance wasn't as appealing.
Exactly.
And now they're also migrating here.
Yeah.
They can put the time, energy, effort and money into, maintaining these beautiful properties.
I think you're right there because when they were buying from overseas, 15, 20 years ago, all they wanted to do was get something with low maintenance.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Lock up and leave.
That's right.
Yeah.
And because weatherboard at that time, they thought, it's something of a little bit more high maintenance.
Yeah.
But until they moved here and actually appreciate exactly the style of it,
Yeah.
the fact that, when you come home, and just driving up that driveway and having a look at this beautiful Federation Star with a gleaming weatherboard, it just, you can't beat that. I think a lot of buyers has actually described it to me that way.
Yeah.
Before it was as long as they see a solid looking home, they feel quite comfortable with that. But now they want a beautiful house, right?
Yeah.
And nothing, in my opinion anyway, nothing beats a weatherboard house in terms of beauty. You
can see the love oozing out of your skin. It's like,
yes,
if anyone has a weatherboard in Whitehorse, call Jee.
Even myself, probably about 15, 16 years ago, I felt I was one of the earliest person of Asian descent, to go into a weatherboard. I did that back in 2007, I loved that house.
Yeah.
I could remember sort of coming home and, stepping out of my driveway and just staring at my house for and my wife's looking through the window thinking, what is wrong with you? And then I jump back into my car, drive back into my garage. That was a silly thing that we used to do. And where people come through to the front yard and ask us, "Oh, hey, who's your builder?" And it was and I think from that point is quite a pivotal time as well. From 2007, I could see a great movement of buyers from Asian descent moving into weatherboard homes, so.
It's quite unusual. You think of the mechanic's car always breaks down.
Yeah.
The doctor's kids are always sick.
Yeah.
The real estate agent maybe not look after, but you take great pride in your home by the sound of it.
I was, at that time, I still remember it quite well. I think, and I think that's one of the predominantly changes in Blackburn. Got a lot of different buyers are moving in. The railway line helps a great deal as well. That's what's lacking in Manningham as opposed to Whitehorse and Monash.
Yeah.
They've got that railway line, and a lot of buyers look at forward to buying something
on the train line.
Yeah, on the train line. And I always advise buyers the same thing as well. Yeah. If you're looking for real estate, just follow the train line.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can't go wrong. Look at Ringwood. Ringwood's gone crazy.
I will never forget my husband and I. However many years ago, I'm like, Ringwood, it was 600,000, and now you speak to Riley or Dan at the Outer Eastern off, and it's like, good luck under 1.2.
That's right.
And it's like
exactly. And like now with the renovation at Eastland and expansion of Eastland, eventually they're going to incorporate the railway station. What they did with Box Hill. And I think, that's going to go crazy again, just follow the train line.
It's good advice. Follow the train line.
Follow the train line.
Well, I think there's some absolute nuggets of gold in here today. I appreciate you taking the time
to
let us know about the journey from pancakes to property. I think most people would think, how in the world? But it actually seems like a really great trajectory.
Exactly.
Thank you for keeping it
not
real.
a problem.
And we look forward to talking to you again.
No, thanks, Prue.
You're welcome.